always going to be a naysayer saying that you're never going to be able to do something and that you're going to fail at something. Honestly, I have nothing to say to those individuals because everything that people have told me that I would never do, that I would never be able to accomplish, I've gotten done. And I've heard it in boxing. This is good what you're doing, but it's never going to work. Okay, we'll see about that. My name is Adrian Clark. I am the owner of AC Sports Management, based out of Dallas, Texas. Born and raised in Dallas, Pleasant Grove area, and I graduated from Bryan Adams High School. I was about 7 years old when my brother started beating me up. I had to learn how to compete with him, so I started watching boxing tapes. Mike Tyson was the main guy that we really watched, and I fell in love with boxing from there. For a good 10 years, I was taking beatings from my brother, but as I got older and got wiser, he took a couple losses. I remember my first fight in college, and I wasn't nervous. I had enough practice, I had enough sparring. Although I lost the fight, I fought hard. Like most guys, I wanted to be a professional athlete. I was kind of looking around and seeing guys that were 6'6" or guys that had the physical specimen that I didn't have. I figured, you know what, I'll be better off on the business side of sports. CJ Miles, who plays for the Toronto Raptors now, is a good friend of mine growing up, childhood friend. And he gave me an opportunity fresh out of college. I lived in Utah with him when he was with the Utah Jazz, and then 1 year with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I didn't really have a direct title. I made something up just to seem official. I think I said I was his publicist, but after living with CJ and kind of being around other people that were prominent in sports, I figured, you know what? I can start my own sports management company and I can be successful, just as successful as the people that I was watching. I was ready to kind of swim on my own and create my own legacy back in my hometown of Dallas, Texas. I started AC Sports Management August 10th, 2012. It was probably the best day of my life. AC Sports Management is a management company that specializes in negotiating contracts for professional athletes, mostly in professional boxing. First official client, Jerry Belmontes, the Corpus Christi kid. And I honestly couldn't believe it when he asked me to be his manager, but I didn't know what I was doing, but he thought I knew what I was doing just based off of my confidence. Jerry and I had a successful run. We made it all the way to a world championship. He fought for several regional titles. He fought on every channel that you can think of. The old way of representing fighters in boxing is very poor. They charge the fighters outrageous percentages and they sign the fighters under contracts, meaning that the fighters can't get out until the contract is expired. Everyone was taking a percentage. So managers 33%, trainers 10%, and sometimes cut man 2 or 3%. That's almost half of the fighter's money. Coming into the business at 23, 24 years old, I thought that that was the direction to go. I thought that that was the best thing to do. But the closer I got to my clients and they became friends and they opened their doors up to me and brought me into their families, it became that situation to where let me rethink everything that I'm doing and let me go back and research some things that I learned from the NBA and let me put these things together to see what I can come up with. The Protect Yourself at All Times campaign purpose is to educate and inform the professional fighters what they're getting into in regards to professional boxing. The contracts in boxing compared to the contracts in other professional sports, night and day. The sport is not associated. There's no regulations. There's no fighters council or a union to protect the fighters. In basketball, you have the National Basketball Association and you have the National Basketball Players Association. The Players Association protects the NBA players from the National Basketball Association. With boxing, they're not employed by anyone. Most of the guys don't have their own personal insurance. They only have the insurance that they sign on the night of the fight. That doesn't equal up to much. There's nothing in place for the fighters if they get hurt in the ring, and there's nothing in place for them once they retire from the sport of boxing. Joe Frazier is one of the greatest fighters ever, but he died with absolutely nothing. A lot of fighters have absolutely nothing to show for their careers today. When a guy decides he wants to turn pro, there's no information that he's given besides you need to send $25 or $50 to your state commission. There's nothing talking about, hey, the contracts you're preparing to sign, we want to let you know what steps you can take for retirement. Talk about health or life insurance or understanding your money. None of that is spoken about when a guy decides to turn pro. But in basketball, they have symposiums. Football, they have symposiums. Baseball, hockey, all the major associated sports, they have things in place to protect the athletes. Boxing doesn't. People are starting to take wind of what I'm doing, but no one has jumped on board to say, we're up behind you 100%. So it's just me by myself, and I'm going against the grain, I'm going against the norm, and I'm going against anyone that thinks that this shouldn't be done for fighters. The managers or advisors in the sport of boxing, they know it's the right thing, but they don't like what I'm doing because it cuts into their money and it educates the fighters. Now when a fighter sits down with a manager or an advisor, the fighter is now sitting down with the contract in the boxer-manager agreement to counter the typical managerial contract. The fighter now knows that everything is negotiable. I'm an entrepreneur, so you have to be a risk taker, and you can't be afraid of anything or anyone for that matter. So I'm going against almost a century of how things have been done, and they can join on and do things the right way with us, but I'm not afraid of anybody or anything in this business. It goes without words how passionate I am about changing the sport for the betterment of the fighters. My work speaks for itself. The entire Protect Yourself at All Times campaign, and even the structure of AC Sports Management, how we treat the athletes, I'm totally shaking up, shaping the sport of boxing. Everyone is seeing something they've never seen before in the sport. They're not only seeing someone that cares for the fighters, people say that all the time, but I'm actually putting the action behind it. It's more than just me saying that I care about the fighters. It's me actually putting hand and foot behind it and putting the work in to give these guys something that they've never ever seen before in the sport. If I were doing this just for money, I would have stuck with the status quo. I want to be remembered in the sport of boxing, and that's the difference between me and anyone else that has represented fighters. They didn't want to be remembered. They just wanted to make money. I want to be remembered.